All right, guys. Phenomenal morning. Listen, guys, I am so excited this morning. Of course, I'm accompanied by the phenomenal Junior Frederick Bobby Jackson. Listen. This is the beginning of the fourth quarter, guys. Crunch time, bottom of the ninth. Bottom of the ninth. I love it when the crunch comes. I get excited, right? I'm that type of guy. When the bases are loaded and it's the bottom of the ninth, two strikes out. Oh my God, let's go. I'm excited. I hope you're excited too. We got a phenomenal announcement, phenomenal lineup. Gentlemen, how are you feeling?
Feeling amazing as usual, Sean. Feeling amazing as usual.
Come on, let's go. Let them know how you feeling.
You know, I've been doing a lot of a lot of gardening. I grew a watermelon, and I've been harvesting a lot of papaya over the last few days. So I feel absolutely phenomenal, man.
Come on, man.
Yes,
This
sir.
guy here. This guy, this guy here always hits me with some new stuff. Bobby, what do you think, man? Junior's gardening and popping up with papayas and stuff. What's going on with you, brother?
Yeah, on my side of the house, it's what are limits is the question that I've been asking myself. So as I've been going through this self-development journey, as I've been going through this process of becoming, it's like, what is a limit? What is a limit really? What's a limitation? And as I get closer and closer to them, I realize that they're nothing more, in my opinion, than paradigms, just perspectives. If you perceive a limit, then you have one. If you don't perceive a limit, then in many cases you don't have one. Very simple, nothing too profound, but it's very exciting because I feel like a lot of times, especially in the fourth quarter, we can limit what's possible in 90 days. We can limit. We can say, man, the year always slows down for me around this time. Or we can say, I did a really good first three quarters. What really is there left for me to do? And I think that that's something that all business owners can challenge, and people, personally, professionally. So that's what I've been on this past, I'd say, 2 weeks. What is a limit? What is a limit?
Very good, very good. Guys, I want you to take this away, right? Paradigms and perspective. Paradigms and perspective. I wrote in the 7 prerequisites to success that if you perceive a problem like Bobby's talking about, then that's true for you. That's your reality. And listen, I come from the place where everybody has one. Everybody has an excuse. Everybody has a limitation. My daddy wasn't there. Okay, great. Now what? Some people use the daddy not being there as the reason to be successful. Other people use it as the reason to go the left way and not succeed. Right? Some people use the full family, right? So I got all these children. There's no way in the world I can write a book. And then there's me. I've got all of these children. I have to write the book because if I don't write it, who's going to? Do you understand? So there's so many ways to look at what you just said and kind of unpack that. Before we go to a break, Junior Frederick, what do you have to say about that?
Oh, Sean, I was actually just literally writing something down. I don't think Bobby maybe I don't say he doesn't understand, but there's so much depth to what Bobby just said. Bobby, what you're talking about, like what I heard and what I wrote down was literally mental alchemy. That's what I wrote down. I wrote down mental transmutation, being able to transmutate a situation to take a seemingly perception. And Sean, this is so interesting. This is evidence based, by the way. So,
Of course.
I study all kinds of subjects. I study economics, I study science, I study physics, I study, all quantum physics, all kinds of stuff. And in quantum physics, it's actually been measured that I don't know if people know, but reality behaves as a solid. It also behaves as a wave. So as a wave, just like a wave in the sea, and then it also behaves as a solid thing, like a particle. And it said that reality exists as a wave and a particle at the same time, but it collapses into reality when we perceive it or when we are conscious of it. So what that says to me is that when you become conscious of a thing, you create that thing. So when you perceive a problem, like Bobby was saying, you create that problem. You collapse your reality into that problem. But when you perceive a solution or you perceive a different kind of reality, you collapse reality around you into a different path. And then you create a whole different alignment that you can go on. So Bobby, what you spoke about, there was so much in depth. And I just had to say that, man. So that is
Guys,
how
I'm gonna just advise everybody, share this out. Share this out, because I can tell we're about to go somewhere real deep when we get back. So share this out. Be a friend to a friend, be a coach to a coach, be a consultant to a consultant, and share this out so somebody else can get this information. Sean Raiz, phenomenal morning, guys. Breakfast with the Brand. Here we go again. It's very important that you know yourself to the highest degree possible, because it's through knowing ourselves that we're able to know other people. You are the most important person in the room, and the better that you know yourself, the better that you're able to communicate to others. So you're not only playing the game knowing who you are, but you're also playing the game knowing who everyone else is, so that you're not playing blind.
He's extremely engaging with people. He has a fantastic smile, and he's just a very high energy person.
This is called leadership development. So we have to be independently knowledgeable and considerate to know who we are, so we can more effectively know who other people are. As the leader, it's your responsibility to allocate resources in the right places. If you don't know how to communicate effectively, you're losing the battle. I said Sean Raiz. I'm proud. I said Sean Raiz. Leadership is not the brand they made for us.
Listen, he brought fire, heat. He didn't hold back.
20 years down the line, what I could sell, why not serve first? Service over salary. Branding like a leader closes the gap for people who want branding. Speaking like a leader closes the gap for people who are nervous about speaking. If Steve Jobs would have speculated, we wouldn't have Apple.
He changed lives. He helped people open up their business and start their business.
We are the brand. Some people say, Sean, should I quit my job? Mentally, yes.
As a speaker too, to be able to learn from him and watch him and you know, game respects game. And I want to have that much game someday.
The right client, pay $500,000 for what you do. You have to be bold in your beliefs.
He has been an amazing asset to this event and a pleasure to work with. Very captivating, collaborative, worked very well with the audience.
I want to help you. Put a 0 behind your number, right?
The session was great. How he is online, virtually, he is even more phenomenal in person.
Be the face of change that you want to see. Stop asking questions and start giving demands.
The entire team has just been absolutely incredible. They are a joy to work with. They go above and beyond.
Give yourself a round of applause. Yes, yes, yes. All right, guys. So welcome back. This is Sean Raiz, as well as Junior Frederick, as well as Bobby Jackson, and this is your Breakfast with the Brand. So before we went to the break, Junior and Bobby just kind of dropped a neutron bomb on you guys. just literally kind of like just Hiroshima'd the place, right? So let me just, based on the last video that you saw before coming back, the last video, just the last video, I said a couple things. I said the right client pays $500,000 for what you do. You heard me in a different setting speaking to a group of entrepreneurs and business owners, executives, high-level performing CEOs. And I said the right client pays $500,000 for what you do. And that's because the person sitting in front of me gave phenomenal services at a very light price point. Very light price point. And I told the gentleman, I said, the right client pays $500,000 for what you do. But you don't perceive yourself. You don't perceive yourself or your services as being worth that number or even worth $50,000. So you shave yourself and you color yourself lightly when you should be coloring yourself heavily. And I'm going to give you an example when I'm done because I just put this up as well. So I'm writing down a name before I continue. So the first thing I said, the right client. The right client, in order for you to attract the right client, you have to be the right person. Write that down and underline it. Because everybody says, what do you mean the right client? The right client doesn't have a problem with paying your price. None at all. None at all. They don't hem and haw. They don't have to speak to the wife. They don't have to speak to the husband. They don't have to think about it. They're ready to go. But the thing that stops you from getting the right client is not being the right person, and the right person has to have the right mindset. Very simple. If you're the right person, you're in the right mindset. You're in the right physical set. Your energy is ready. You're ready to go. You know what the goal is, and you're not seeing anything to the left, anything to the right. So I'm going to tell you right now, no matter what you do, the right client pays $500,000 for what you do. Whether you're an employee or an entrepreneur. Just let that sit for a moment. Number two, I said, I want to help you. Add a zero behind your number, right? That's what I want to do. So that you saw me in another room with another group of entrepreneurs, another speaking engagement, telling them that I want to help you add a zero to your number. So what's the difference between $50, $500, $5,000, $50,000? You see where we're going? $500,000 and $5 million. What's the difference? What's the quantifiable difference? $50 to $5 million, and every increment in between. $50, $500, $5,000, $50,000, $500,000, and $5 million. Share this out. Share this out because you want to know this. Like your children want your children to know this. I want my children to know this and understand it. What is the quantifiable difference between all of these numbers? Let me ask one of my phenomenal, someone under my tutelage. Bobby, what's the difference between 5, 500, 5,000, 50, 5 million? What's the difference?
I remember when you taught this to us originally, and it blew my mind. It blew my mind. And the difference that I wrote down and received from you in that session was there is no difference. However, I added a caveat. Just for myself. So you told us that there is no difference. You know, all of these numbers are the same. It's just a zero, so to speak. But what I added to it, just for my own understanding, was that the person you have to be, like you were just saying, matters. So it's like there's no difference in those numbers, but the only difference really is you, if you can say those numbers.
Yes, sir. So the only difference is you. The only difference is you. The only difference between me and you, or $500 and $500,000, is confidence. Confidence. Your confidence and your self-awareness, because someone will say 50, someone else will say 500, someone else will say 5,000, someone else will say 50,000, someone else will say $500,000. But realistically, zero has no value. The number zero has no value. So the only variable, the interchangeable variable between these numbers, and you got to blame Junior Frederick and Bobby Jackson for getting so deep in the morning, right, on a Saturday. But I was born for this stuff. This is the stuff that I love, right? So the zero holds no value. There's no weight to it. 0 plus 0 is 0. 0 divided by 0 is 0. 0 multiplied by 0 is still 0. So the only difference between $500,000 and $50 is the person looking in the mirror. And for my last piece, Michael Jordan just became the only and first and only athlete to join Forbes 400 richest and wealthiest Americans as being worth $3 billion. Now, I just saw a member of the Bulls, his whole team, remember, he was there, like he was right next to him. I won't mention his name though, but he was right next to him at the same time that Jordan was building up his $1 billion enterprise. He just got put on the Forbes 400 list. And this gentleman was just giving a free signature session for like a sip and paint. for like a sip and paint last month sometime. Literally, you could walk up to him and shake his hand and get a signature on anything for no money at all. So one is free, one